everybody, and welcome to the Positively Disney podcast. My name is Kimberly Bouchard, your host tonight and the author of the Positively Disney book series. I just want to welcome my Twitch TV followers and my Facebook followers as well. I want to welcome Frank and Toddy and Tisha. Thanks for watching tonight. And Gina, thanks for checking in with me. So I also want to just quickly welcome and thank my sponsor, Michelle McCune over at Years of Experience, who put together an amazing holiday for you. And the best thing about everything else that she does is that she has texting with you anytime you're in the park or on your vacation. So if you had any last minute questions or emergencies or anything that comes up, she is there to help you out. You can reach her at mmckeown at themouseexperts.com or 732-735-1779. And you can tell her that I sent you. At any rate, I'm so glad you could join me tonight. And you know, all of us that have gone to the parks, we have probably experienced the old system, the new system for fast passes. And, you know, I don't know, there's sort of good and pros and cons really about both of them. And I remember back in the day when you had to go for, you know, a paper fast pass, and it worked well with our family because we'd line up in our coveted ride, and then my husband would go and, you know, get the fast passes for us. And then when they came out with the new ones at Walt Disney World, it took a little getting used to because you kind of really didn't know where you wanted to be that, you know, any particular day. It was really hard to figure that out. But it has kind of come full circle in the sense that it has been helpful for others to know that you could get into the attraction that you wanted to. And, you know, one thing about Fast Pass is, I don't know, what have you guys done in order to get a Fast Pass? Have you guys done anything kind of crazy to get a Fast Pass? I'm not too sure. But I've heard that people will get up sort of at the crack of dawn, whatever hour, whatever time zone they're in, so that they could start booking their fast passes on, you know, whatever. I think it's 60 days out now. I believe it's 60 days out. But at any rate, I know for us, when we wanted to book a fast pass for the coveted Flight of Passage, we actually Ubered it to Walt Disney World an hour before Hollywood Studios opened, Animal Kingdom, opened, to get onto that attraction. And, you know, it was the best thing we could have done. I'll tell you, it was pretty early being on 3-hour time difference, but we were up there and we were out, and the park didn't officially open till 9. But us and several hundred started gathering well before 8 o'clock, and we were off that attraction by about 20 after 8. I know that the park fast passes work different in different parks, and at Disneyland, I remember we actually had a paper fast pass, sort of one of those generalized golden tickets where you could get, you know, you had fast pass to anything at any time of day. And my husband and I were like coveting it and just waiting to go on to Pirates of the Caribbean at the end of the day. And when we went to the Pirates, we were looking all over for the Fast Pass line, and we're informed that there were no Fast Pass lines. It is not a Fast Pass attraction at Disneyland. So we were not able or willing to really wait in a really, really long lineup. So we just passed the Fast Pass on to somebody else who wanted it. Tisha says, I don't know if I like this book. It says, because I'm new to this and I'm just used to doing it throughout the day. I like to go by ear. Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody has sort of a way that works for them. I know at Disneyland, they have what they call a max pass, right? And you have to be actually in the park before you can book your passes, and you can book one at a time, which is lovely in the sense that, but you have to get in the morning, because I had the max pass and I got in sort of later in the morning, early afternoon, and by the time I wanted to book fast passes, they were at some crazy hours, so it didn't really work for me. And that's actually an additional $15 per day per person on your ticket. Just want to welcome John. Hi, John and Mary. Welcome to the show tonight. So I know another thing that at Walt Disney World, the new announcement just came out that Smuggler's Run is now a fast pass attraction. That is the Millennium Falcon ride at Galaxy's Edge, and it is. I think that's great because and I don't know when it's going to happen in Disneyland. I hope soon because when I was there a couple weekends ago, I waited in the standby line, thinking, "Oh, I'll go pretty fast." Yeah, the standby line was ended up being about 40 minutes long, so there is not a heck of a lot of difference between the standby line sometimes and the regular line. So, anyways, I'm so glad to hear that. And I'm curious to know, you guys, what are some of your favorite attractions that you love to have a fast pass for? I know for me, Pirates at Walt Disney World is a standby. Just I do that all the time for that. Haunted Mansion, of course, is one that is kind of my always go to. Peter Pan, even I still love the Peter Pan attraction that to go on. But I was just curious to know what do you guys typically get fast passes for? So I have a guest now. Before I introduce her and get her on the line, I remember the first time that we went to Walt Disney World with our the new system of fast passes. And for any of you that are not familiar with that system, the fast passes in Walt Disney World, you're allowed 3 a day in a particular park. I mean, you can book 3 on your app, and once those are complete, you have to then go to another to a kiosk to get additional ones, which is kind of a bit of a pain to have to run and find the kiosk to get another fast pass when you're so used to doing it on your app. Mary was just saying that Haunted Mansion on Sunday, the fast pass line was really long. Yeah, that you run into that problem too with fast pass lines kind of becoming almost as long as a standby line in other times, right? So what do you do about that? First one to before I go on, welcome Melissa Frey and Paul Bentley. Paul, gosh, all the way from the over the pond, so it must be late for you. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to get our guest on that she has tested and tried various ways of obtaining. Get a load of this. She's had, I think she told me she had 10 fast passes in a day at Walt Disney World. I am heading there a week from Wednesday, and I really want to get the skinny on that because I think it's absolutely fantastic that there's actually a way you can get more than 3 fast passes a day. And we're just dialing in on her line. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kim.
How are you doing, Linda?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, you're very welcome. And for the audience sake, I'm so excited for you because you're heading to Walt Disney World tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes, I am. 7 a.m.
Oh, yeah, I know. But those flights, those early flights are okay if we're heading to a Disney park, aren't they?
Well, not taking a 7 a.m. flight. It's a little bit later than that. Maybe
Oh,
go to the airport then.
oh, okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's not too bad. Well, Linda, I know you are a World Disney traveler, and for our audience sake, could you tell us, even though we're going to be talking about Walt Disney World and the kind of
Yeah.
the magic of the fast passes there, but what other Disney parks have you visited?
I've been to Disneyland in California, of course, and I've been to Disney Paris a few times. And this spring, I finally got to Tokyo Disneyland.
Oh my goodness. Now, it's been a long time since I've been to Disneyland Paris, but do they have fast passes there? I can't even
Yes, they
remember.
do.
They do.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
So what is
They
theirs?
have
Yeah.
they have the old system.
Oh,
But I understand, although I haven't seen it yet, that they also have a paid fast pass. I can't really tell you how that works though.
oh,
But
okay. So sort of the
and they
paper one.
also have,
Okay.
they sold the paper ones, but they
Okay.
don't have nearly as many rides on fast pass as we do in Florida.
Mm,
Uh, and neither does Tokyo actually.
okay. And so now what about Tokyo Disney? What kind of a fast pass or did they have I mean, I would think that they would have fast pass system set up as well.
Yes, they did. It's the old-fashioned one. Only
Okay.
a few rides though, maybe three in each park or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Um,
Did you
well,
find
it's
that
like what? Sorry.
did you find the lines fairly long then for the attractions? I'm thinking. I don't know.
On the weekend it was. During the week it wasn't that bad.
Okay. Well, I wonder if they just don't have the same technology there that we have in North America to address our, for the fast passes. I'm wondering about that. That's interesting. Wow. Well, I have been waiting to talk to you, Linda, about this and share with our audience because we've all done crazy things to get a fast pass. I know some people have gotten up the crack of dawn or the middle of the wee hours of the morning to get their fast passes when their allotted day of the month has opened. Prior to their vacation. And I know for us, we've gotten up at some crazy hour just to go to the park an hour before it opens. So I know that you don't do that, do you?
No, I do not. I no longer get up at 6 in the morning because I'm retired now,
Yeah.
and I wasn't about to do that for Disney either. But I learned how to maximize my time, and I haven't really waited on very many lines for the last few years. To tell you the truth,
Wow, that's
pretty good.
amazing. So now tell me, are there more favorable days or times to book a fast pass that you have found?
Um, well, not really. I don't think so.
Okay.
It has to do with how many days you're spending in the park, basically.
Oh,
If you are staying on site, you're allowed to book 60 days in advance. If
right.
you're not staying on site, only 30 days. So the
Okay.
people who are staying 60 days, um, who are allowed to book 60 days out,
Hmm.
can generally get anything they want as long as their trips are longer than 4 or 5 days. Because
Oh,
you got to realize that somebody who came a week before you, their last day is going to be your first day, and so there's like a progression. The very hardest rides, some of them, it really takes until 4 or 5 days from the beginning of your trip in order to get a fast pass at a decent time.
oh my goodness. So so it's easier for you to book to get a fast pass if you're there like day 6, day 7, day 8 kind of thing, or
Yeah. Oh yeah. Day 6, 7, 8, you can get whatever you want at whatever time you want. Day
oh,
one, Yeah, day one, you might only get stuff at night, but then again, you won't be arriving until night anyway,
right.
probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Day two,
Ah.
you can get a lot of stuff. Yeah, it depends how many roller coasters you want, really.
Oh.
But it gets harder. Yeah.
Okay. And so somebody was mentioning that you always want to book the popular rides first. Is that true? I don't know. How
Yeah.
do yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Why
Yeah,
is that?
because everybody is going to be trying to book them, so you want the time advantage, basically.
Gotcha.
Don't waste your time at 7 o'clock in the morning trying to book It's a Small World because it'll be available, the next day and the day after that. But if
Okay.
you want to get on Pandora, for example, you better start doing that one first.
Okay. So those are kinds of things that you can do ahead of time. Now, what are the things that you can do while you are in the park? And then I want to find out how in the world you manage to get 10 fast passes. So, okay, so the idea is like if you're booked in for a longer period of time, you're more than
Right.
likely to get
Hmm.
what you want. Book most
Hmm.
popular. And then if you are at the resort already and you
Hmm.
still can't get some of those attractions, what do you do?
Okay. Well,
Or if you
I
haven't
have
had yeah.
yeah, I have a list of tips here of what to do
Okay.
as you get to the park.
Okay.
Okay. The first thing you should do after you get to the first ride, your first fast pass, scan in. And then immediately after scanning in, while you're waiting those 10 minutes, try to move up the times on fast passes 2 and 3. Because basically, there are going to be people who are going to be canceling things and moving up things and trying to move back things, and times will open up if you're patient. The idea is to be patient. So move up number 2 and then move up number 3. And if you're lucky, you might be able to do 3 rides in the first hour by constantly moving up the ones you have.
Okay, now so in other words, fast passes you've booked already,
Hmm.
you, it's kind of not written in stone, is it? You can keep
Right.
finding things earlier, not necessarily later. Like I find I get fast passes, and then it's like if I want to, get a different one, it's kind of later. But is it kind of luck of the draw in that sense,
Yeah.
or oh, it
Oh
is.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. You have to stand there and just keep doing it. Basically, you
okay,
keep. You have to keep refreshing the screen. Like go back and forth between say 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Just keep doing it, and
okay,
eventually there are so many people doing it at the same time. Eventually, a time will open up.
okay, okay.
You just
That
have to be patient.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, continue.
Okay. After, let's see, after the first 3 you use, then you can start to make a fourth. And the fourth can be in the same park or it could be in a different park. And if you, let's say you want to go on Space Mountain, for example, and it comes up at 8 o'clock at night. And you say, oh, I don't want to have nothing to do between 11 and 8 o'clock at night. That's ridiculous. But
Hmm.
don't pass it up because I've found that for some reason the system seems to allow you to modify fast passes that you have easier than getting new ones.
Okay.
So if you take that 8 o'clock fast pass and then go back in and go to modify mode, eventually you might be able to get it back to 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or something like that.
Okay. Because I
And it
often
works.
will not book something if I see that there's some crazy
Yeah.
time, or I know I have a dinner engagement.
Hmm.
I won't book it because I think, well, I can't make it. Or sometimes
Right.
if you've got a reservation, they won't let you book it any. I don't know if they'd let you book it anyways, but so always book it no matter what time you get, and then modifying is
Quiet. Right.
easier. Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
Now,
it works.
now you just mentioned a fourth, the fourth one.
Hmm.
I have never been able to get a fourth one. Have they changed a rule on something, or
No. Well,
no?
you have
Oh,
to use your first three first.
right.
After your first three are done, you can go in and make one at a time. Number four, then number five, then number six, and yeah, on I think
Ah,
I yeah, and
gee.
it could be a different park too. If you are at the Magic Kingdom and you want to go to Epcot, on your way there and you're sitting on the monorail, just start playing with the app and make a fast pass. And by the time you get there, you may have one that you could just walk right on.
Okay. And then the key here is that after your three, then you have to make them one at a time,
Right.
and you can get away with that. And why I say get away with that, because I've never been able to book any more fast passes, because it usually tells me I'm done for the day. I don't know why.
Oh,
Why,
I don't know
yeah. So,
why. No idea.
unless maybe you have to refresh your screen, right, in order to maybe get another fast pass. Hmm.
Well, Disney IT is not the greatest. I'm trying to be polite here.
Okay.
Sometimes the program does get wonky.
Okay.
I've had to reinstall the app on one or more occasions. It does
Okay.
happen.
Okay.
So I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, it's not always stable.
Is I'm just wondering, so usually we're a party of 4 or 5, and of
Yeah.
course we're all linked in. Is it better to continue booking fast passes with the same person, same person's app open, or with somebody's a different app, but somebody in their party? I wonder.
Well,
What's your
your
advice on that?
problem might be that you're a party of 4 or 5 because those are harder to find. But what you should do is break up your group into groups of 2 or 3,
Okay.
and then try to get overlapping times. That
Ah.
that seems to work.
Okay. So that's interesting because
Yeah,
often they will say there are no more available times for your party of four, party of five.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's
that
probably a
could,
problem.
okay, that is really good to know because I know that I've been with other people and we run into each other and we try to get on an attraction together. And
Hmm.
so we're booking separately and they'll give you options, right, to do that. So
Right.
that is really good. So split your family up, split your party up into two or three, and get it to overlap. And again, if one of the parties doesn't have the time of, say, party B, then they can just modify it, right? They can just keep modifying it to work their way to that
Right.
same
Exactly.
day.
Right.
Okay. Gosh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to remember that next time.
Yeah.
Well, when we go next time, actually. So I was also wondering now, how many attractions with fast passes have you done in a day? Like, what is your record?
I think my record was 9 or 10,
9 or 10.
and
That's
I wasn't
incredible.
even there all day.
Holy cow. See, that just
Yeah.
blows me away because
Yeah.
I think maybe part of the problem for me might be that, I was always looking for passes for the five of us or the four of us. And it would always give me that you have reached there are no more available
Or
fast
yeah.
passes at the time you requested. And of course, I changed the times on that, but it's the party number that you have to be concerned about too, right?
That's that's probably a good part of it. It
Mm.
also may be how many minutes you were doing it,
Oh,
because sometimes it takes me 15 minutes to get a fast pass. Um,
okay.
but if you sit on a bench or you sit in air conditioning 15 minutes as opposed to standing 2 hours online, it's well worth it, I think, to spend 10 or 15 minutes playing with the app.
Oh, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
that's another thing then is sort of that old adage patience, right? Pays
Yep.
off because a
Yeah.
lot of us are caught up in the frenzy, so to speak, of a Disney park experience, and we try to get a fast pass, and we can't, so we move on, do something else, go eat or whatever, and then of course you get distracted. It's like, oh darn, I've got to go back and try those fast passes. So the idea then is basically keep trying and
Hmm.
try to do it in increments of 10 or 15 minutes at a time. And there's lots of time that you can find 10 to 15 minutes, be it waiting for a dining reservation, or if you're sort of in line, a fast pass line, that lasts 10 or 15 minutes, you know what I mean? Or
Exactly.
before a show, right? So that's
Right.
really good to know. Um, do you have any other, like, final piece of advice for folks? Because these are just golden for us that, have not had a lot of luck in fast passes.
Um, I I don't really. I think we've gone through most of it.
Yeah.
I think what people ought to know, though, when they're making their initial fast passes 30 or 60 days out,
Hmm.
sometimes it works better on a computer. Sometimes it works better on a cell phone.
Really?
Sometimes you need to clear your cookies out. Sometimes you need to try another browser.
Really?
I'm
Okay.
be I'm being very serious. There's a lot of problems at 7 a.m.
Okay.
and it's probably better to have a couple of devices ready to go
Okay.
and know which fast passes you are absolutely important to you, and
Right.
try to get those first.
Right.
And a little planning helps.
Right, for sure, and setting sort of allotting some time as you go as well to acquire those fast passes. I'm just wondering, since you got 9 or 10 in a day, which I think that's a dream for me. I just think that if I'm not there before the park opens, I am not going to get onto anything. But I was just curious to know, have you? doubled up in your fast passes in the sense, or have you gone on the same attraction in one day? Like, is there any way that they would, the system, I should say, would say, no, you've been on that already. You can't get it for the fourth or fifth or sixth time? Just curious to
Oh
know.
no, no,
Oh,
no, no, no.
okay.
Oh no, you can go on the same ride again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
there, okay.
basically, the way I did it was as I scanned in, I start looking for the next one immediately while
Okay.
I'm waiting those 10 minutes on the fast pass line.
Okay.
And
But you,
that's and
okay. So the thing is, though, that until you finish those three, you can't get an additional one,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
right,
So you're
right. But you can move up the other two,
right.
and so
Right.
you're moving things along there, and you're not wasting 3 hours at the beginning of the day
Right.
because your initial three have to be an hour apart
Yeah.
until you get to the park and you scan in, and then you can start going and moving things up.
Right. Now, since you know how to do all this while you're in the park, do you ever plan ahead in the sense, do you have fast passes booked before going to the parks or?
Well, yes,
Yeah, you
60
do.
days out, of
Oh, you
course.
do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was just
Mhm.
wondering about that because again, it's better to have something, right, than
Right.
nothing,
Mhm.
and just keep trying to get them as close together as possible. I guess. I was just curious. What are some of your favorite attractions, Linda?
Oh,
I know that's a not
that's a
terrible
hard
question. Yeah,
one.
I know. How about you
I
can
didn't
tell me a
prepare that
few?
question. I can tell you my favorite ones in Tokyo Disneyland and Paris
Oh,
if you'd
well.
like.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, the Ratatouille ride is fantastic, and we're getting that in only a couple of months. I have been on it. It is a great ride because it is modern technology, but yet
Oh,
anybody can go on it. It's
okay.
you're not going to get any kind of motion sickness from it, but yet it's very very entertaining, and
Oh.
it's going to be really really good.
Oh my gosh. So we're get Walt
Yeah,
Disney World's getting that in a couple months. So I'll have to go back after my trip this next month. Which park is it going to be at, Linda?
in Epcot in
Oh,
the
it
French
is.
Pavilion, they
Oh,
are doubling the size of the French Pavilion. It's
they
going to
are.
be this. Oh yeah, there's a lot of construction going on back there.
See, I have not made it back to Walt Disney World in, gosh, a year and a half, which is like way longer than I ever thought. I made it to
Okay.
Disneyland a few times between that. Well, that is good to know. I know. So okay, so the Ratatouille ride, and in Tokyo Disney, what was your favorite ride?
Well, they have a lot of the same rides as we do,
Oh,
but
okay.
they have a couple that were really, really good. Um, one of them was the Sinbad ride,
Oh,
and it's sort of like Small World somewhat, but a lot more elaborate.
okay.
Um, and they also had a very interesting version of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Hmm.
Yeah, you actually go in individual submarines. I think they hold about 6 people,
Oh.
and they're suspended from the ceiling like um, in the Peter Pan ride,
Oh.
and you go undersea to see everything at that point, and it's magnificent. The technology building that
Hmm.
park called Tokyo Disney Sea was absolutely fantastic.
Hmm.
They put so much money into that. There are 9 lands there, and every one is elaborate as Pandora or Cars Land.
Oh,
Seriously,
wow.
yeah,
Oh boy. Now, I was just
amazing.
curious to know. We'll have to have you on for Tokyo Disney on another show because I really want to go to Tokyo Disney and Disney Sea. But
Okay.
is there a particular time of year to go to that one? I'm just curious to know. Tokyo Disney.
The weather is very similar to Washington D.C. So if you know when not to go to Washington D.C.,
Okay.
you won't. I mean, if you will know not when to
Yeah.
go there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
went. I went in April. The weather was fantastic and it was
Okay.
very nice, and the
Nice.
cherry blossoms were out.
Oh yeah, that would be fantastic. Well, I know that. I mean, one of my all-time go-to attractions is Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know what it is about
Hmm.
that. The smell, the just everything about it. I mean, I love the musical score. from it, from the movies and things like that. But do they have? It's different. Parts of the Caribbean is different there than it is at Walt Disney World, I think, isn't it?
The one in Paris is very different. The one in Tokyo is somewhat similar.
Is it
The one
okay?
in Paris is not as light and entertaining. It's darker and
Oh,
scarier.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, it's different. But
Ah, okay.
the one in Tokyo, I remember it being somewhat like the United States.
Okay, very neat.
The
Oh my
the
gosh.
Magic Kingdom is almost exactly like it is in Florida.
Oh, in the
There, yeah,
Tokyo Magic Kingdom or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
it called is it called Magic Kingdom in Tokyo?
No,
Oh,
it's called the Disneyland Park. You know, like they do in
oh,
California, and
okay.
in Paris they do the same thing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. My goodness. So what is the I'm just curious to know before I let you go, what's your first three attractions that you got for Walt Disney World?
Um, Probably. My guess is I don't remember right now, but I
Uh
know my first attraction's always Spaceship Earth every trip
okay.
because Epcot has is the easiest park to get to in the evening. You know when you first arrive,
Right.
and I always go straight on to Spaceship Earth. So that's my guess. I think that's it.
Nice, nice. Well, they've got a lot of changes coming to Epcot, and I know that
Mhm.
they are building the Tron attraction right at
Yeah.
Walt Disney World, and I don't
Mhm.
remember where they are building that again because I haven't been there for a little while. But where?
It's going to be in Tomorrowland.
Oh, in Tomorrowland.
It actually already is there. The tracks are there anyway.
Okay. Do you know
Is
an
all finished.
estimated time that they plan on opening that one? Or
I think it's 21. Not
2021?
positive on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wow, gosh. I just got an annual pass for Disneyland, and I think I might have to get an annual pass for Walt Disney World too, because there's just so many things coming out all the time, to check out. It's very. I feel very fortunate that I can check these things out, but I will be looking forward to the Ratatouille attraction now that you shared that with us because I was not aware of that one at all. Um, but anyways, Linda, I want to wish you just a great trip. How long are you going to Walt Disney World again?
11 days.
11 days. Oh, I wish it's been years since I've been able to go 11 days to a park. That's
Well,
what.
that's what happens when you're retired. You can go for 11 days. There you
Yeah, I
go.
guess. Oh my gosh, I'll dream about that for one day. Listen, safe travels, and thank you so much for joining us and sharing your the hacks for the fast passes. Because I
Okay.
look forward to using some of those ideas and tips when I go next week. So, anyways, you take care, and we'll be in touch.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me,
Oh,
Ed.
you're welcome. Take care. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye bye.
John, you asked, can each family member use their own phone to be able to ride same attractions at the same time? I would definitely imagine that you could, but it might be a little trickier in the sense if you're a family of four, you all got your phones out, your apps on. Uh, I am not 100% sure if that is the best way to do it or to do two at a time, but I think that being the fact that you're only one rider, that might be the way to do it. I think it would take a little investigating to do. I might even actually give that a try to see if you can do what works best, one rider or two, because I darn it, I had too many kids, I guess. No, just kidding. I am now going to be splitting us up so that we can get that overlap for sure. Mary was just mentioning that you can actually see the Ratatouille ride from the Skyliner. That's something that I'm going to be on too. And I hope they got the glitches out because I think I'd be kind of freaked out if I had to be stuck on there for any particular amount of time. Just want to welcome Clint and Leah to the show. Thank you for joining me tonight. We are a little bit earlier at this point 4:30 to 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock ish, I guess, Pacific time, and will remain that way unless we have a holiday. There's one guest that can only come on at our old time, so I'm kind of trying to work that out. But at any rate, I hope that you got some ideas out of how to get these fast passes, and I'll let you know how it goes for me when I return. There will be a show next Monday, but when I return after my trip next month, because I have had, fast passes. Everybody wants the same attractions, and we just want to, have the best vacation ever, when we're at the Disney parks and that. So I guess patience is important, and just to keep trying and modifying what you have seems to work a little bit better. So, anyways, I will say hello and goodbye to my newcomers that have just joined me both on Facebook and on Twitch TV. And you guys stay safe, be well, and I will catch you next week at 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern time, right here. Take care. Good night. Bye for now.